This is the Inphic IN6, a wireless gaming mouse that weighs around 60 grams and costs less than $40. The main question, however, is whether it performs well and if you should consider getting one. I'll answer both of those questions in today's review. Let's start with a quick unboxing and overview. Inside the box you'll find the basic set: the mouse, a wireless receiver, dongle, and a charging cable. The cable is very flexible and light, so I have no problems using the mouse while charging. The overall design of the mouse is strikingly familiar. Its rounded shape, button placement and general aesthetic strongly remind me of the Logitech G Superlight. They even share a similar weight, although the Superlight 2 is slightly lighter than the Inphic. The shape is ambidextrous, but the side button placement makes it primarily a right-handed mouse. The build quality seems very good. I've been using it for a couple of days of extensive Marvel Rivals sessions and it actually helped me achieve Platinum rank. The left and right mouse buttons are quite large, stable, and on the stiffer side you need a reasonable amount of force to actuate them. They're not overly light, I'd classify them as medium in stiffness. There is very little pre-travel and an acceptable amount of post-travel, which increases slightly if you press near the edge of the buttons. Buttons themselves are slightly angled, allowing your fingers to rest comfortably on top without sliding off. The side buttons have a bit more pre-travel, but they're pleasantly clicky and not mushy at all. They're also quite easy to reach. The scroll wheel is responsive, fairly quiet, and doesn't exhibit any scratching noise. It's also very clicky, just like the main and side buttons, pleasantly firm and doesn't wobble much at all. Before we move on, here's a quick sound test so you can hear how the mouse button and scroll wheel actually sound. This should give you a good idea of the overall sound profile. There's an LED light behind the scroll wheel that can be programmed to display an RGB effect or indicate which DPI setting you're currently using. It also shows you when the mouse is awake. The coating on the mouse is good. I don't see any imperfections so far and it allows you to grip the mouse firmly. However, it's hard to say how it will hold up over time. We'll need to revisit this after a few months of use to see if there's any wear. At the bottom of the mouse you'll find the sensor window featuring the PAW3395DM. It's great to see Inphic using one of the most acclaimed and well-respected sensors on the market. It offers 650 IPS tracking speed, 50G acceleration, up to 26,000 dpi, 2 lift-off distance settings, 1mm and 2mm, and you can adjust these settings using Inphic software, which we'll cover later. The mouse supports 2 wireless connection modes, 2.4 GHz via the included dongle with 8 kHz support if you purchase the upgraded dongle separately, and Bluetooth 5.0. You can also use the mouse in wired mode while it's charging. The skates are excellent, they're very smooth on my SkyPad. I didn't experience the friction I sometimes get with my Razer Viper Ultimate Mini, even when its skates are new. These skates have rounded edges and glide effortlessly on a glass surface, making the mouse both smooth and quiet. Also on the bottom is the DPI pair button, which switches between predefined DPI settings or pairs the mouse with a Bluetooth device. There's a small compartment to store the dongle. Removing its cover doesn't significantly reduce the weight, so I just keep it attached. Although I don't have the official battery life data, after about a week of use, around 2 hours of gaming each day, I've only seen about 25% battery drain. This suggests a battery life of roughly 60-70 hours depending on usage and whether you're running at 1000 Hz or 8000 Hz. Overall, the build quality is outstanding at this price point. No creaks, weird noises or rattling. The chassis is quite rigid. Now let's talk about performance. Using a method I typically use for keyboards, I tested this mouse latency with Sony RX100, capable of 1000 frames per second, paired with 240Hz OLED monitor that has a 1 millisecond response time. I measured the time between releasing the right mouse button in Overwatch 2 and the effect appearing on screen, counting frames. Each frame is 1 millisecond. After about 15-20 tests, the average delay measured was 32.5 milliseconds, maximum was 44 milliseconds, minimum was 26 milliseconds. By comparison, the Viper Mini measured 33 milliseconds on the same test, which means the real-world latency is effectively the same. That's very impressive for a mouse priced at $40. Inphic software is pretty decent. It's a desktop application that lets you adjust polling rate, including 8000 Hz if you have the supported dongle, change light settings, modify lift-off distance, tweak key response time, set various other configurations. You can also save multiple profiles, and I haven't encountered any glitches or non-functional features so far. To sum it up, the Inphic IN6 offers a fantastic value for its price. It supports 2 wireless mode, has solid build quality, crisp and satisfying clicks, and user-friendly software. It also uses a very reliable sensor that has performed flawlessly in my tests, and is going head-to-head with mice 3 times its price. If you're in the market for a new gaming mouse, this is definitely worth your attention. Let me know what you think in the comments, and feel free to ask any questions about the Inphic IN6. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.